is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn, Radio Romania International 1 and via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz, vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second. Standard DVB as 2. Modulation 8 PSK. Audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm Anna Maria Popescu with the news. First, the headlines. King Charles III was officially proclaimed monarch in a ceremony held in London. EU energy ministers voiced support for emergency measures to stop the rise in natural gas and electricity bills, and several Russian deputies from St. Petersburg area were summoned to the police after accusing President Vladimir Putin of high treason following the Russian aggression in Ukraine. Senior British MPs Saturday swore an oath of allegiance to King Charles III, officially proclaimed king by the Accession Council, a body convened to confirm the new British monarchs throughout history. Both chambers of the British Parliament held special sessions so that lawmakers may honour the Queen. Thousands have gathered in front of Buckingham Palace, the main residence of British monarchs in London, to pay tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away on Thursday, aged 96, at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. King Charles III confirmed that the day of the Queen's funeral will be a banking holiday in the United Kingdom. The funeral will take place at Westminster Abbey in London on Monday, the 19th of September. The Queen's coffin will be brought to Edinburgh on Sunday and later on to London, where the Queen will lie in state at Westminster Hall. After the service, which will be attended by heads of state and government from around the world, the Queen's coffin will be taken to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, where the Queen is to be buried. EU energy ministers voiced support for emergency measures in response to the energy crisis and even mentioned price capping for natural gas imports. At Friday's extraordinary meeting in Brussels, officials for the 27 member states agreed that a unified approach was needed to address the rise in energy prices caused by Russia's invasion in Ukraine. They gave the European Commission several days to come up with a solid and concrete plan, said the Czech Industry Minister Jozef Sikela, whose country holds the rotating presidency of the Union. Romania, which is represented by the Energy Minister Vigil Popescu, pleaded for measures such as a price cap on Russian gas imports or a EU-wide platform for the joint procurement of natural gas. As for cutting down consumption, Bucharest said this should be voluntary depending on national capacities and market developments. The national airline TAROM Saturday scheduled 2 additional flights to Greece to repatriate the Romanian passengers abandoned by the low-cost operator Blue Air, which announced it lacked funding even for fuel. TAROM has so far organized 4 other special flights to Israel, Greece, Cyprus and Spain. Several thousand Romanians have been stranded in international airports since Tuesday night when Blue Air announced it was suspending flights. Although the authorities have unfrozen the accounts of the airline, which had excessive debts to the Romanian state, Blue Air said it would only resume flights on the 10th of October. The Transport Minister, Sorin Grindanu, urged Blue Air customers to try to find other options to return and pointed out that TAROM could not replace all the flights that had been cancelled. In 2020, during the COVID pandemic, Blue Air took out a state-guaranteed loan of over 60 million euros. This summer, it was fined €2 million by the Consumer Protection Authority for cancelling over 11,000 flights in 2021 and 2022. Blue Air's current estimated debts amount to €230 million. Romania and 3 other EU member states, Greece, Poland and Lithuania, call on the European Commission to grant them exemptions from the budget deficit rules with respect to military expenditure in order to be able to make the investments required after the Russian invasion in Ukraine. They want this expenditure excluded from the deficit calculation so that the 3% of GDP ceiling required by the EU may be observed. Meanwhile, a report made public by the World Bank, the Ukrainian government and the European Commission indicates that Ukraine's reconstruction after the Russian invasion may cost around $350 billion, with figures set to increase in the coming months as the war continues. A number of Russian deputies from the St. Petersburg area were summoned to the police after requesting the impeachment of President Vladimir Putin for high treason in relation to the Russian aggression in Ukraine. In a rare show of dissent, they called on Russia's parliament to impeach the president for the death of the Russian youth sent to war, for Russia's economic downturn and brain drain, and for NATO's eastward expansion. Not least, they argued the invasion of Ukraine had the opposite effect to that expected by Moscow. And that was the news on Radio Romania International.